Good morning. Welcome to episode 34 of Tech A.
Whoa. How many coffees you had this morning?
17. I'm Andrew Reid from Resilient Business Systems, and over here, just about
In front of you.
in front of the.
He's pointing.
For those
listening can't see you.
All right, okay then.
He's
Can
pointing
you
at me.
verbally point? Like if I scrape the microphone?
Just go, I am pointing at Adam. Is
I
that a
am
verbal
pointing
point?
at Adam. Anyway,
It's
introduce
Adam,
yourself.
Adam HubSpot Media. Good morning. How are you? And we've got a guest.
Shh, don't tell her.
Well, what? I think she knows she's here. I think that's.
Oh, yeah, she does. doesn't
Yeah.
she?
So, hello, guest.
Hello, guest.
Mystery guest.
Mystery
Guest
guest.
of mystery. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm the mystery guest, and I am Liz Lawrence from TigerDove Marketing.
Wow. Welcome, Liz. How are you for a Monday?
For a Monday, I'm good. Yes.
At this ungodly hour you told me. She said, I'm fine for 8:30 on a Monday
Yes,
morning.
that's it.
I got stuck behind everything this morning. I've just been telling you.
Absolutely.
Tractors. Tractor, slow-moving vehicles,
Exactly.
galore. So, please
So,
forgive me.
Liz,
Yes.
TigerDove Marketing. Please tell us and our lovely listener all about yourself and what the business
We've
is.
got more than one. We've got more than
Have
one.
you got more
listener.
than one? Are you sure?
Yeah, we have.
Have we
We
got?
have Wee Nut,
Yeah, which is Mark.
which is Mark.
And Michelle. Oh, no, she doesn't listen.
She just says she listens.
Yeah, she just.
She doesn't.
That's just the verbal pat on the head you get
Absolutely.
every
And there's
week.
your mum. So
Yeah.
that's 3.
Hi, Mum. She doesn't listen.
We're back down to 2 listeners again.
No, we've got more than
We've
one.
got more than one.
So, yeah,
That's
please tell
okay.
us about yourself and
Myself?
TigerDove.
Myself, well, as I say, I'm Liz.
Yeah.
I've been doing marketing, professional marketing, however you do it. Been building up my career for well over 20 years now.
Wow.
Yes, I'm old.
No, you're not. I would not put you over 19.
As I was just saying, the term I was referred to as experienced. That's what I was called at the weekend. I was told I was experienced.
I'm extremely skilled,
Yeah.
experienced, and I have a lot of knowledge, basically.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. That
Good at
sounds
marketing. See
I
the
know,
communications there,
I
Andy.
know.
That's what we do. That's what marketers do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And during that time, I've worked across a number of sectors. I started my marketing career at Teesside University, actually, many moons ago. Yeah. Working in their marketing student recruitment team.
Lovely.
And then I moved on. I worked at Cleveland Fire Brigade for about 5 years as the head of comms and engagement. So I worked a lot with the community, which was great. And I really enjoyed that.
I was going to say a fire brigade having marketing, but obviously in terms of
Yeah, it's not
Community.
Andy. It's not just shouting fire.
No. They do a
thought it
lot
was.
more. They do a lot more.
hello, I'm your
Yeah.
marketing person.
No. Do a lot of community safety
of course.
campaigns and working with schools and young
Fabulous.
people. So that was really
I
interesting.
can imagine so.
And then I went on I worked at Northgate for a while, Northgate Vehicle Hire,
Yeah.
in their marketing team there, all over the country. So that was internal comms focus, so that was great. And then from there, I worked at Durham University Business School, head of marketing there for 7 years, I want to say, which, it must be
Surely.
about 7 years.
Surely
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, and so TigerDove came into being a couple of years ago now, coming up to our second anniversary.
Yeah, I remember when
Way.
you just set up and I met you for the first time, and I
Yeah.
can't believe you're saying that's a couple of years
I
ago.
know. It's gone so fast.
What?
It's gone so fast. Yeah. So I set up TigerDove in July 22, and TigerDove predominantly supports small businesses and education institutions with their marketing and communications, focusing on brand, market research, program or product development, through to that customer or student journey from, attraction through to conversion, making that sale, through to like the advocacy side of things, like testimonials.
I love it
and
when
things
people
like
say
that.
the journey, because that's what you do. That's
Journey,
what we
journey,
do.
journey.
It is
So
a journey
I do
together, isn't it?
I do all sorts of things, but yeah, that's my main focus. And I work. I've got clients sort of local, national, as well. So yeah, that's where I am at the moment.
So a real mixed bag of experience and
Yes.
sectors
Yes.
before that. And then the question I always like asking though,
Go on.
why TigerDove? Why the name? How did we get to that
Do you
name?
know I knew I was going to be asked this?
Yeah, did you?
So
I
I
thought-
quickly thought of something on the way
do you know
here.
what? It's always, did you? Not just I pointed out 2 random words in the dictionary and that's what came up.
No, she
it's
saw a
always a good
tiger
story.
leaping in the air
To catch
with
a
a dove
dove.
flying past and thought, oh, TigerDove, what a great
Perfect.
name.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's the meaning behind the words. I'm a big animal and wildlife lover anyway, so that's me, and that's where that element comes from. But tiger means strength, and dove, message or messaging. So strong messages, strong communication.
I knew there'd be a good reason.
Have you ever thought about marketing?
Yeah,
you'd be really good at it.
Yeah, and because we've looked at a few things, and it's always interesting to see how company names arise. It's always one of my favourite questions.
I suppose setting this business up is sort of my personal journey, so I wanted it to reflect me, and that's why I came up with it.
Okay.
There we go.
So my question, throughout your career, which has obviously been very varied, you've been head of marketing in some places, head of marketing, and just like part of the team. Why set up on yourself? What was that drive?
My drive was, like everybody, I think through the pandemic, a lot of reflection happened.
Why am I working so many hours?
Yeah, there is that, but actually having your own business, you do work a lot of hours. I thought that I'd got to a point in my career where I had a lot of skills and knowledge, and I just thought, I've always fancied trying to, because actually, going back a step, I actually involved, my sister runs a care company in Leeds, and I'm the marketing director for that company as well. And I think building up that business over 10 years, I saw sort of the other side of the fence.
Yes.
And I got sort of an appetite for doing that. And I think through the pandemic and sat there working constantly online all the time, I enjoyed my job, don't get me wrong, but obviously it changed vastly through that time. So over that 10 years of seeing that business build up, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I would like a piece of that. And I thought I got to a point where it's like, if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? And there just came an opportunity. And then from a personal perspective, my husband was looking to retire because he's actually a bit older than me, but we won't say that.
Experienced.
He's more experienced than me.
I'd just say bloody lazy because he's retired.
And no, he's not.
Sorry, Paul. I love you, Paul. I love you.
You're very good at making enemies on this podcast.
I am. Jason, Paul.
The list just is getting longer.
I still love you, Jason.
Yeah, and I think there's that sort of element where he was looking to retire, and I'm thinking, do you know what? If I don't do this now, I'm not going to do it because it's going to be a lot of hard work building up the business. And then as I started on that journey to leave my job and start my business, a lot of people that I'd worked with in years gone by, and sort of said, "Oh, you're setting up on your own. Do you mind doing this for me? Do you mind doing that for me?" So making those connections over my career and this is my piece of advice to anybody who's building up their career and thinking about going it on their own. Connections and networking are key.
Oh, 100%.
And they have been key to me over the last 2 years. And I'd like to thank all my connections that have actually taken the time with me and that I've worked with over the last 2 years because it's been great.
I almost teared up with that acceptance speech.
There you go.
There you go. And here's the Oscar.
No, you're right, though, because I used to work for the local authority.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there was just no more money left, as in the projects we were working on. And they were like, well, I'm afraid you can no longer stay with us. So that was a challenging period in my life. But, certainly I think I maintained all the relationships. I did, because I still work with a lot of the people that I actually worked with back then at times. There's been events that we've been doing with the local authorities. There's been coverage that we've been doing with the local authority when we've been covering events and stuff like that. And it's been at times it's been like getting the team
back together
that I was working at some of these events from a local authority side, and then I've turned up with the cameras. So it's great to build that. I mean, I was only there for a short period of time.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right. But it's then waiting for someone to take the leap on you, so to speak, isn't it? In terms of actually going with you as an individual in this case, and going, yep, we've got your back, we trust you to do.
Yeah, but that must also have been nice for you that when you were saying to these people, I'm setting up on my own, they obviously knew you, they knew your work, the quality of your work. So again, not that you want to say, oh, actually, that's really nice, but it must have been great for these people. Oh, will you? Oh, that's very kind, thank you.
Yeah, it was. And the thing was, I was the in-house person. I was the person
Yeah.
in the company, and they were the agency or the company
Yeah.
or the supplier working with me, however you want to, coin the phrase, as it were. So, but I was always pushing. I always wanted to move forward. You know, I actually got different agencies to work together to try and deliver projects where it's very difficult sometimes, you know, to get that sort of relationship going and moving, you know, and working together in one way.
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't, as somebody in-house, I didn't just let an agency deliver for me. I worked with them.
Yep.
And I, you know, challenged them a little bit. And I think they found that, I think they found it quite refreshing. Probably challenging, probably, but whatever. But what I'm saying is that they probably, you know, saw that work, that sort of vision, that ethic, and that's probably, hopefully, and obviously, I'm a really nice person.
Oh, well, obviously,
100%.
we have
Without
to say
question.
that. She told me I had to say that to put down this piece of paper here.
I found a £5 note on my chair when I
Did you?
sat down.
Yeah,
I did. It was
written on the back, tell me I'm a lovely person.
Yeah.
You know, you were saying obviously you work with your lovely family and sister with that company down in Leeds, and you were saying that you are their marketing manager. So, can I ask? You were almost running your own business anyway, running that business, not on your own.
No,
but you were the marketing department of that company.
Yeah. I mean, building up the care company from scratch was a challenge. It is a challenging sector to work in,
Is very
and it's getting
challenging,
more and more challenging. Various pressures from different ways, you know, but it's very rewarding as well.
Yes.
Very rewarding. I mean, it's great when we get clients coming back and saying how, you know, great and supported we are and things like that. And working with local authorities, you know, we do get some very positive messages back from them as well, you know, and it's really, really nice to hear that. But I did part of the board, the development of that business plan, looking at what we were trying to achieve, that type of thing, the vision of where we wanted to go, and then putting those building blocks in place.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows you don't always get to where you want to go, but for me, a business plan is ever evolving.
Definitely.
It's not a piece of paper you stick in a cupboard.
No.
You know, you could write a business plan this year, and 12 months down the line, actually, the market's changed completely. You know, there's no point having a 5-year business plan, not revisiting it and making sure it's doing what you need it to do.
The Mike Tyson one's my favourite. It's like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Yeah.
Lean over
like
here.
that.
Lean over here.
No, I'm good.
I like that.
That's why they take. Yeah, but it's so true in many ways, and I think you can really apply that to business.
Yes.
You know.
Well,
Yes.
funnily enough, as you were saying, Liz, imagine any company writing their business plan and then the government going, COVID, lockdown.
Oh,
I'll just take that business plan and throw that one out the window.
I know. There's always a challenge somewhere. Legislation gets changed. You know, and I say COVID was a challenge for every care professional and every profession really in some way, shape or form. But that did change things massively. And then coming out of that, obviously going back to normal was a challenge because people have got used to working with all the rules, regulations around that, and then coming out the other end and with pressures to do with funding for councils and things like that. It's changing the landscape constantly. And more people, unfortunately, are having to pay for their own care, which then puts pressure on other areas, if you know what I mean. And anyway, so yes, it is challenging. We're still going 10 years down the line, 11 years down the line now. And, you know, when you get, I work with students a lot. From different institutions to come and do market research for us and, you know, talk to our clients, etc., and employees, our great team of carers. And we get feedback all the time through that market research. And when, you know, one of the key themes coming from your carers and your employees to say that, you know, they like working and it's part of being part of a family.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really nice. That's rewarding as well, because that's one of the reasons that my sister really wanted to set up on her own.
Yes.
She wanted to put care and carers first.
Yes.
And we've always stuck by that ethos all the way.
Yep, happy workforce. Means good standards of service delivery.
There's always challenges.
Of course there is.
But yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride, but still there.
But then, obviously, at the end of that roller coaster ride, you said, "I'm going to set up TigerDove as well."
Yes.
Yeah, so on to TigerDove, I've got a quick question. So
Go
what
on.
sort of sectors are you working in TigerDove? Has it been the similar kind of experience that you've had with the sectors, or have you branched out into new areas? How's that journey been?
How's that journey been? I work with education. Predominantly, my experience was higher education, which has continued. I've got work through various ways working with higher education, business schools and university, business school focused and university broadly focused. I've also started working with a school, which has been good over the last 18 months or so. So that's been although it's education, it's different education. Every part of education is slightly different.
Of course, yeah.
So that was interesting. And then I've started working with smaller businesses as well. I work with a couple of local businesses at the moment. I've worked with a startup as well, which was, again, obviously I started my own business.
Did you see the smile?
Yeah.
It said startup and smile, because it is fun, like to do it, and you can have a real impact.
And then I've just, I'm happy to have conversations with people. I've got a lot of skills and experience, which I keep saying because I'm old. And I'm one of the things that I'm really enthusiastic about is spending time with people.
Yeah.
And actually having a chat with them. They know they've got their idea, or they know they want to go in a certain direction, but they're not sure how to do that. And it's really interesting to have those chats and talk things through with them a bit and give them a few ideas of maybe what they could be looking at.
Yeah.
And just helping out. Ideally, I'd like to work with more sort of local businesses, but I'm only one person. And it's that journey, and going back to the networking and connections. I've over the time, I've been Darlington Business Club, and I've tried other networking, and I've made those connections. And some I've had chats with, others I've done work for.
Yeah.
I've sort of gone out a bit,
yeah.
And I want to extend that even more.
No, it's good. I mean, education is a complex landscape, isn't it? And
it is.
I've done a bit of work with education.
Yeah.
Have you done systems education?
No.
I've actually got a question for you actually about about that.
Oh.
Off air. So yeah, no. Someone asked me, and I was like, "Did Andy do?" I can't remember whether you did or not. Anyway, so yeah, no, education. It's what I like about education is it's all about. To me, it's all about showing the good stuff that's going on, because you've got. I'm like, there's always. Sounds terrible. A gold mine of good stories, because you've got staff doing amazing things, whether it's at work or in the free time, or our students. Whether they're older students or younger students, but they might be doing stuff outside of school that can that's something positive for the community.
Yes.
Because schools and colleges, universities, they're all part of the community.
Yeah.
So I always like, seeing what's going on, because there's always some really good, interesting stories I find.
Oh yeah, when working in-house at universities, you've got 20,000-30,000 students and things like that, and there are always lots of activity going on, and there's lots of student stories. You've got obviously students while they're at school, university, college, whatever, but then you've got the story after as well.
Yeah. Seeing where they've then gone on to.
And, being in the role that I was in, I saw people, I recruited people, face to face at recruitment fairs across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd see them walk in the door.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Then go through obviously whatever program or course or whatever they were studying, and then go out the other end, and then, to see them actually be successful in their careers and be happy to work with my team and myself at telling their story. Really, really, it's really interesting. And also you've got the other side of it, which is the academic side of it and all the research going on. Which is,
of course.
It's it's amazing. And when you see that research become practical in the in the profession, in the industry, a lot of research goes on with industry. And what a lot of businesses don't realise, which is that a lot of business schools and universities are looking for businesses to work with them for free. So like students do projects.
Yeah.
And they'll come into your business and do market research for you. They'll do business plans for you. And you have different levels of students. You know, people doing undergraduate degrees, masters, MBAs. You know, people that are like late 20s, early 30s or older coming into your business. And they'll actually do a project for you. So, and that's how I get, you know, going back to the care company, you know, working with students, I put a business, I don't know what you call it, like a planned project together, submit it to the team, and then if a student picks it, they'll come and work with us for a few weeks.
I've never
Yeah.
thought.
Can me and Adam order 2 students, please?
We do take placements.
Yeah.
You've had a placement student, industrial
Really
placement.
good for us, absolutely.
He's just built a server for us that we're using.
Brilliant.
And then I've actually just booked in a work experience student to come to us in July. You know, so we.
So in addition to
But
that
this is like
that
the next step.
they'll come and do a project for you as part of their program. So it's worth getting in contact with your local business school. They will have a team that looks after that, and they'll put you on their list. And when the projects are due to come round, they'll contact you and say, "Have you got a project?"
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Isn't that interesting?
There you go.
Who wants to do my work? No, I was resisting.
No.
Resisting. Yeah.
But like, as you know, running your own business is not enough hours in the day.
There isn't. And
you were saying to me it's dead easy.
someone behind me.
Oh, was that in your moment of madness?
Yeah, moment of madness. What was I going to say then? Right, so there's a couple of things that you touched on. I'm just going to track back. And it was when you were saying about working closely with startups and this, that and the other, working with them, being part of the team, and also when you're working with agencies in your previous roles, working closely with them, asking questions, this, that and the other. Me and Andy have been talking about trusted partners.
Yeah.
Because I think the secret to, it's like, for example, Andy supports my IT. Does he work with you on your IT?
Yes.
Yeah. So here is the trusted partner. Do you see what I mean? You trust him. He's there to help you. You're all aligned and working. So to hear you kind of saying that in a roundabout way in terms of how you're working with people and being aligned and almost like expanding your team in a certain extent. I suppose that's how you very much align in TigerDove with what you're doing, aren't you? It's just you're on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, working with startups, but then obviously I've got contacts coming to me saying I've got this massive project. Can you help me with this part of it? Yeah, and then I've also got a network of people that I work with as well that I trust. So, you know, if I get a project, you know, and it's all about being able to deliver and support what your client or customer, whatever you want to talk about, what they need. Yeah. And it's all about delivering the best results for them. And if it, you know, I say I've got a lot of skills and knowledge because I'm old, but there are certain elements. Yes, thank you. But, you know, there's certain elements of marketing that I know I'm not as strong on as other people that I know. And actually, you know, I can do this, but I know this person. I think
you've hit on an interesting point there. In any business at all, it sounds awful, but recognising, say, for example, a weakness in what you're saying. But if you recognise that and you know somebody else that's better at it, then why wouldn't you just go, excuse me, can you help me, please?
Yes.
But some people don't want to do that because they're like, well, no, it shows weakness. I'm like, no.
But it goes back to that in-house day. It's looking at your whole team and yourself and the skills weakness, you know, like experience, but there's time as well.
Oh, I was going to come on to
time is the biggest resource that it's priceless.
Yes.
And you know, if you need to deliver something for a business, whether you're working in-house or you're supporting that business to deliver it, it's looking at how best you can deliver that. Looking at return on investment, looking at, you know, the experience, looking at the quality of work that's going to be delivered. So that's really important because time.
Marketing's really simple. Running a business is really simple. There's so many dynamics to it, though, isn't there?
No, I colour in for a profession. That's what I do.
Do you?
Yeah, that's what I do. I colour in.
This one's going to be red.
And,
this is blue.
and I'm that experienced that I can do it just inside the lines now
Can
as well.
you? Well done. That is amazing.
Wow.
That is amazing. I love colouring in.
I love colouring in.
I had it called fluffy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't understand all that fluffy
Fluffy
stuff.
stuff. My man was a
Fluffy
scammer.
Yeah, and I was like, that's in relation to marketing. I'm like, no, the leaflets and the creative, that's the fluffy bit. But when there's a lot of thinking that goes on behind it, you know.
One of the things that I wanted to pick up on that you mentioned quite early on, Liz, is that well, certainly both myself and Adam believe it, but when a young business is starting,
Yes.
I think, as you quite rightly said, they've got a million gazillion
Yes.
things to think about. One of the things that I think that you've picked up on that's really quite good is making sure that they understand their brand at the very start.
Yeah. So and going back, I worked with a startup. Was it last year? Time, goes so fast.
Yeah, it does.
And it's actually understanding the business, getting to understand what they're wanting to achieve, but then making sure they understand their market.
Yes.
You need a solid foundation. You need to understand, how you touched on brand there.
Yeah.
You need to understand if you're offering services or products, whatever. You need to understand who your competitors are, what your unique selling points are compared with your competitors, or what your unique selling points are about your different products or services. You need to make sure that you understand who your audiences are. All audiences are different. It could be age, it could be where they live, it could be how they purchase, it could be absolutely anything. But you need to understand the marketplace, you need to understand your business, you need to understand the marketplace that you're in, and you need to understand how to connect effectively with your audiences. And that's just the beginning of looking at that customer journey element, how you attract people
good, isn't
in.
she?
She's very good.
But
She
you
knows
need
us.
my advice to any startup or business or university ever looking at a new service product program is you need that market research, and you need to make sure it's solid, because then your foundation has to be solid, and then you start to build on it.
Yeah.
And it might not be something that you do quickly, but it's not to say you can't be doing other things while your market research is going on. But it's very, very important to get that right.
I totally agree.
Honestly, marketing is easy, isn't it?
I think in the last episode, we're recording this slightly early because of timetabling, but on the last episode, I think I literally talked about marketing foundations being right before you do any marketing, because you just accelerate the problem finding for the person that then engages.
Yes.
So you're singing to the choir.
Yeah. But then going back to the startup,
yeah.
I mean, it depends what type of business you're working in, because obviously, especially when you first start in, return on investment is really, really important.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes you have to balance things and do it bit by bit, because obviously thinking about cash flow, thinking about all those things, you can't. It's that old adage of Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
And as I say, you can be doing bits as you're going along. It doesn't stop you being active, but building up that knowledge base, you will get to a point where you are 100% certain that that's what we need. That's where we need to go. That's what we need to do. That's where we need to invest. That's where we need to spend our time. All that type of thing.
Yeah, I think it's probably. I like the word focus.
Yes, I do. It's my favourite word.
Because sometimes I'll have meetings where people are going, here's all the things, and it's wonderful. Everything that they're doing is wonderful and amazing, and the services. And I'm going, right, you want to promote all of that.
Yeah.
I understand the bigger picture in terms of your ultimate focus. But actually, sometimes you really need to have a laser focus and go for one particular either. And this conversation I've been having the last few weeks, shall we focus on a locate? Because if it's nationwide, we're working with some clients that are going, we want to do this nationwide, but they're not quite doing it nationwide. And I'm like, so let's focus on our region first, in terms of, because your ad spend gets stretched out.
Of course it does.
Yeah, so you spend a lot of time focusing on key areas with then a roadmap to because then you can take each point in turn, can't you?
Yeah.
Here's a question to both of you, and we've covered this before, Adam. In terms of any company with what you're doing, everybody knows, and we're obviously all converted, marketing, the focus that you've been talking about, but yet, episode 4, whatever you've done, you're just a scammer. How do you cope with established business, with great respect to you, Liz, you're second year, and I still can't believe 2 years. But you're an established business, you're a young business, you obviously must still get people going, I don't need you, I know what I'm doing. All this marketing is hairy, fairy, cloud fairy stuff.
Fluffy. So the scammer comment, I had a client, potential client go, don't trust social media companies, they're all scammers.
Really?
And I was like, okay, what was your experience in the past? Was the question I followed up with. And it turns out they actually screwed us over at the end of it, by not paying us.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So it's like, well, thank you very much, but hey, this is the negative side of business you don't see. Have you come across this? We could do it ourselves. Have you had that? Because it is a challenge. It is a challenge.
It must be.
It is a challenge. And you get it from all businesses, large and small, and all sectors as well. From my perspective, I've spent hours putting business plans together.
Yeah.
Not business plans. Proposals together, because they ask for certain projects or certain things to be done. So you spend 2, 3, 4 hours making sure it's right, making sure everything's, putting in the right information that they've asked for, submit it, and then they take that and try and do it themselves.
Yeah.
That was my follow-up.
And then, I'm a big believer in what goes around comes around, and actually it has, you'll get them back in about a year or so's time going, oh, well, we've tried to do this, but, can you spend a bit of time?
Their focus is on something else. They can't
it's
do
time.
that.
They haven't... Right, going back to your social media thing, according to a lot of businesses, social media is free.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Who's writing the stuff?
Exactly.
Is the question. Is it a member of staff?
Yeah.
Is it themselves? Because if it is themselves, then they're not physically paying out, but they are paying in terms of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always remember the story that you told me that you quoted for a customer. No, too expensive. We saw a flurry of activity in their social media because obviously they said, we can do it ourselves.
Yeah.
3 months down the line, nothing.
By the way, I've been monitoring a few of those.
Yes.
I had some reminders pop up this week, and I was like...
It's because of that focus that you correctly pick up on this. Yeah. How do you run your business?
Yeah.
Look at Resilient. We can do our own social media. Yeah. What did I do? Farmed it over to young Adam over here. Young, see that?
There you
Did you
go.
see that bit?
Yeah.
Is that why the other fiver was on my chest?
That was why the other fiver was there. But I farmed it over to Adam because I couldn't do it. Me and Michelle didn't have the time.
Yeah, and it's time, it's skills, knowledge. It's that above the line, below the line visibility, isn't it?
I didn't realise my belt was too tight.
I mean,
sorry about that.
and after all the years I've worked in different industries and everything.
Mr. Reid, sorry.
Excuse me, I'm trying to be serious here.
Yeah.
Experienced Liz is talking.
Get back below your line, will you?
Exactly. I'll just back it up the microphone and hide now.
Oh dear. Sorry, where was I? Above the line, below the line. So it go and after all my years of working across a number of sectors in small and large organisations, going back to focus, they're just when you're in-house, you're just constantly trying to deliver. This is from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, absolutely right.
You've got to reach this target. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. So you always deliver. Obviously, you're trying to improve things.
Yeah.
You go back and evaluate what you've done, and you look at how you could do things better. That's fine. But going back to time, and that's one of the reasons why I think getting agencies in or third parties in to support is very, very valuable for 2 reasons, actually. Number 1, as we go, is the time. Yeah. Actually, it's 3 reasons. Time, skill.
Mm-hmm. No, there's 4 reasons. Nobody expected the... Sorry. It's the Spanish Inquisition.
You shouldn't have had that 18th coffee.
Yeah.
18th coffee's gone to my head.
Skill and the thinking outside the box.
Yes.
When you've worked for a company or institution, whatever, university for a few years, you get into that annual cycle thing, and no matter how hard you try, you become not silos, the wrong word. You start looking at everything from the point of view from the business you're working for.
Yes.
Bringing in
can't see anything
somebody
else.
opens those. I'm trying to think of the word.
Takes the blinkers off.
Thank you. That's good.
Not that people are blinkered. But
No, but
you get into your work plans.
You start to look outside, and people come in with different ideas, different ways of looking at things. You sit and discuss it with them. You have really free-flowing conversations and idea-generating conversations, and bringing in people to have those conversations is really, really valuable, because
I agree, Liz, because one of the things that, Adam, you touched on, trusted partners, we sometimes get told that we, as an IT company, it's better having a third-party IT company because it's just not just one person sat who goes, but I know the business. We come along and go, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? You must do exactly the same. And to be fair, you do, Adam. You came to Resilient, and you're suddenly talking about lots of different ways that we can get our messages out. I'm like, never thought of that. But you have that same impact. I did want to touch how then, not an established business, the young startup business, obviously because of who you are, you're a very personal person, you love to help people. But again, that's a difficult conversation to have with a small company going, have you thought about brand? They're like, I've only just set up. I'm not thinking that far ahead. But you obviously have to sort of like go, no. Don't get it right now. You will struggle, or you'll falter later on down the line. How do you challenge that?
Going back to focus.
Oh, laser focus. Just see what she did there. Right in.
Straight in there.
Well, focus. Well, yeah, it's going back to focus, and also a lot of people don't understand what brand actually means.
It's spelled B-R... No, hang on, I've lost it. What does brand mean, Liz?
It's more than just a logo.
There we go.
There you go.
It is.
Isn't that what you told me as well?
It is.
The brand is everything your company lives and breathes. It's everything from the social media posts that you put out yesterday through to a member of your team talking to a potential customer. That is your brand. It's what you live and breathe every day.
I tried to do the brand colour test with Andy, and it fails every time.
Every single time.
I was like, Virgin, and he's like red. And I was like, Dairy Milk, and he was like,
purple.
Yeah, you did now, but last time you're like, chocolate. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, yeah, that's the product. That's the product.
But going back to what you're saying about brand and everything, going back to what I was saying before, is that market research piece is actually building your brand in the background as you go along.
So here's another interesting point. Based upon the fact that everybody says it's all fluffy, it's all, we don't need it. Anybody now, you've just said that to me, look at Virgin. How much money do they spend on branding, marketing, social media, and yet as a smaller company going, I don't need it? It's funny, isn't it? Blinkered is not the right word, but you're like, but they do it. Why aren't you doing it?
And again, from my experience working internally, the first budget's always to get cut as marketing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think in some ways, in some businesses, they begin to realise how important it is. Because if you stop marketing or reduce your marketing, your visibility goes down.
Yeah.
And so, sales might stay okay for a while, but eventually they will start to peter off because your presence has been removed, deteriorated, whatever. Whereas your competitors, they may have increased the spend, they may have stayed the same, and you're going down and they're going up. And inevitably, what will happen is you will see that sales decline because you're not in front of mind of people anymore. And marketing isn't just advertising. I mean, marketing is, like you've about social media. It's about content. It's about getting it out to the right audiences. So you've got your PR element as well. And people think about PR as press release. Well, that back in the day, when I started marketing before social media existed.
You're not that old.
I am. Yeah, gosh. So, you know, you don't just send stuff out. It's about working with the media. It's about using blogs. It's about, you know, it's like LinkedIn now. I mean, what you can do with LinkedIn has just expanded and expanded.
Before, it was just about just connecting.
I know it's, you know, and it's not about advertising and making sure your logo's seen everywhere. It's about making sure your audience that you're trying to connect with, and you're best off going to the platforms that they're already using and reading, so you're not taking them away. If your visibility reduces and they see more of your competitors, then inevitably, you'll become back. You won't be presence of mind. You'll go to the back of people's minds.
Yeah. I think part of the issue with the big company, like, you know, we talked about some big companies there. The problem is, to a startup, I think part of the challenge is it's like that's untouchable, is in the budgets that they're spending.
Yes. Yeah.
There's this huge amount of spend. So and I think that's where the whole brand conversation kind of gets a bit lost, because I think most people have I know they say logo is my logo, and some people are very focused on logo and go, that's my brand, and it's like, well, actually it's everything else that you wrap around it. The problem is everyone then that doesn't understand brand will look at the big companies and the big players to go, and they're like, well, how on earth can I go about that? But you've just touched on so many ways, like the way you're talking about, the way you're presenting. You know, I always used to talk about, in fact, we've tried to do it in here, for example. So when people come in, it's, do you want a drink? Yeah, everyone should be offered a drink and all this sort of stuff, you know. So you've touched on so many points there, and I think it's just bearing in mind that you don't need hundreds of thousands of pounds to do branding, but it's worth taking the time to do branding, to work out how you put your offer out there.
Yeah, but it's all about the experience as well. You know, when people come in here, hopefully, as I say, Liz was very kindly offered a drink. No, I've already got one. I did ask for Jack and Coke, but apparently you don't have any.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning.
But that whole
By the way, the fire alarm is going to go off in about a minute, the test.
Yeah, we never thought about that.
Never thought about that. So if you hear this, we'll just enjoy the ride.
But the experience that Liz will have when she comes in here, nice seating, obviously very airy, you're right. It is all about that. And again, I don't think when you are a startup company, no disrespect to anybody that's starting up, it's the least thing in their mind, yet ask any company 4, 5, 6 years down the line, and they would go, well, of course I have to speak respectfully. Of course I have to do that.
And going back to startups with focus and not having budgets, etc., it's, you know, you need to understand what your company offers and where your audiences are, because then you can prioritise what you're doing. Because, you know, somebody might be, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but somebody might be having a business set up, and actually the best place to find the best place to liaise with their audience is on Facebook, for instance. Yeah, you're a local business, you're delivering X, whatever. Actually, your audience is there. That's where. And actually, leave LinkedIn for now. Leave what you know that, and that's how you focus, and you can spend your time doing that. Yeah. And then you start to expand and look at things. But you're right. It's, especially for a startup, it's that focus element. You can't do everything. You wanting to get here, decide what we can do and when, and start to build it. But as you start building it, you know, it opens up opportunities for you. I mean, I worked with a startup and soon realised that actually the best way to make connections for that business was to go to the relevant trade shows.
Nice, yeah. Makes sense.
And I was just about to say, I bet that person went, what? What about the cost?
Yeah,
that's
I know.
I know
that's the other side.
That's the other side of it. But there's ways of going to trade shows. You could just go and walk around and get your feel for it and talk to people. You don't
get
actually
yourself known
exactly
in that business area sector.
And if you go as a customer, whatever, to the trade show, you would probably see who's there.
Correct.
You would get the information of the people who's there, and then you can start building connections through that as well. And actually, you know, and then from that you can start to look at, okay, I've got these connections, what do I need to do next? And then start building your presence from there. And then you can, you know, you can understand, you know, and okay, there's audience at a trade show, but where else are they?
Yeah.
And then you understand, well, actually, going back to actually they're all on Facebook or they're all on LinkedIn or whatever, and then you can start to focus your digital side of things.
Yeah.
I think you've almost read the script in my head, because the next question's a good one.
Go on.
It's there. I saw
It's
it.
not written on
Is
top
it?
of my head.
Oh, sorry. I was looking. Your mum's putting edible ink.
Yeah. Edible.
Edible.
Edible ink.
Were you gonna-
Indelible.
Indelible.
I was going to say, what, are you gonna lick it off his head or something?
Hey. Episode 35. Andy licks ink off Adam's head.
Nope.
Right.
Sorry, move on.
So
Quickly.
my question. So I want to see, because it was a question I was going to ask you, and then you've kind of gone,
I'll answer it.
no, you kind of have, in a sense. But when I first set up I remember the day one of being like,
At the kitchen.
at the kitchen table, and I
listen,
sat down. He does listen. I opened my laptop and I went, right, I'm running a business. And then it very quickly dawned on me in about a minute and a half. I'm like, okay, the whole world's out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. And how am I going to find I know my customers will be out there, but sitting here is not actually going to help me very much. And there was bits I was sorting out, but I was like, I can only do so much sorting
yeah.
out and the odd post and this. But being a startup so hard because everything's at the start, obviously, by nature, as in no followers, no email list if you had an email. You've got your contacts and your friends and people and former colleagues and all this sort of stuff. But they're not necessarily your customers either.
No.
Because obviously,
They can help.
but you could go, hey, I've launched the business, but then probably won't need the thing that you're offering.
No, but they might know somebody that does.
Exactly.
And it's worth having a conversation.
Yeah. So the fact that you were like trade shows, it took me back to, I started networking and then I learned very quick lessons on networking around.
Here's my business card.
Here's my business card. And I was like, I have no money, like for anything. Like I'm literally trying to think, so it kind of almost soured that experience because it's like, right, obviously, well, if I didn't like that, they're not going to like that. So I need to think about how I'm going to meet people and, where my fit is. And I think looking at the trade show thing is a great idea in terms of seeing what people are doing and see where you fit in a good word, align.
Yes.
One of the interesting things that Liz picked up on that is that when you go to trade shows, we've been to a few of these over the years, and certainly one of the conversations I had with a good friend, who was at the trade, I'm not going to bother. All I ever see is the same people, and what I mean by that is the same exhibitors. And I sort of said, well, yeah, but you're out there, you're getting your name known, you're out there. Now, subsequently, I've had work from an exhibitor who knew what I did, but was speaking to one of his colleagues about needing IT and then came to see me. If I wasn't at that trade show...
It's very long-winded, some of these, aren't they? Like the way you get work. It can be very long-winded.
Yeah, and going back to having a presence and getting known, I mean, all of a sudden you suddenly get asked to present.
Yeah.
I've had that happen to me. Going to a conference or whatever over my professional, people get to know who you are.
Of course.
They get to know what you've delivered and they say, well, actually, can you come and talk about what you've delivered there? Because there's other people that'd be really interested to find out how you got, why you did what you did, how you got and how successful it was. And they can learn from how you're doing
Which
things.
is why you're here today telling everybody about that. Because I knew you.
It goes back to get there, get known by the people, ask friends, family. I've had my mum refer somebody to me, and things like that. It's doing that. But then eventually, once your name's known, you'll start to get opportunities like coming on this podcast.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
You
That's
see?
exactly it.
Yeah.
But we're similar in terms of the podcast. I mean, those two handsome chaps on that TV screen there.
Amazing.
Hey, look at that. We'll recreate it. But we're going to Darlington Business Club on Wednesday. Are you coming along?
Sadly,
Are you missing this week? That's all right.
the older guy.
It's my husband's birthday.
How dare he?
I know, it's
Oh,
terrible.
well, happy birthday to him. But so we've been invited to go along, talk about podcasting, but then we talked about setting up a podcast beforehand. So we're going to be there.
I know.
We're going to do a podcast with them, and then we're going to do like a speed networking where we're just going to invite members to come and join in and have a chat.
fun.
But it's those opportunities though, like
I
you say.
know.
Yeah.
And me and Andy are just doing it because we're enjoy it, and it'd be good fun. It'd be good to share it with them. And equally, Great North Air Ambulance, what a fantastic organisation, you know. So
we're gutted you can't make it, aren't you?
I know.
You can catch up online.
I can.
There you go.
I might say I'll take him out for the evening.
It's on the afternoon, actually.
It's afternoon job. It's on afternoon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, daytime. 12:30 arrival onwards. So there we go. Hot off the press. Hot off the press.
Hot off the press.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we're releasing this after the event,
exactly.
people,
question.
you know.
How has technology helped you in terms of not only at your previous role, but then having the confidence to go, I'm going to set up TigerDove? I mean, obviously, you know, as Adam said, you must have sat there with your laptop and thought, I can do this, but what else, you know? So, and obviously I know you because I do your IT, but all of those things that, you know, a lot of startups also, I don't need to do that. I'll just get a Hotmail account. I'll just get this. I'll just get that. Obviously you're slightly better learning because you've got, you know, my brand and my company, but how has tech helped you?
Tech has helped me a lot.
There you go. Next question.
There you go.
And that concludes episode 34. He knew that question was coming.
I know.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Liz.
It's okay. I thought
done.
about that one over all weekend, you know. I thought it
Just
was a very
say,
good answer.
Andy does it.
I'm in the walls.
I suppose it's, over COVID, obviously the evolution of...
I love that word.
Evolution of Teams and Zoom and all those types of things, they support my business every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I could not work with people down in London or the Southwest or even into Europe where I've been, you know, conversing with people about potential projects. You know, you can't, I mean, it's evolutionized the way it's even because it makes things instant instead of, you know, and when you speak to somebody on the phone, then non-verbal cues and all that type of thing is really, really important, especially when you're meeting somebody for the first time. I mean, doing it online is not like meeting somebody in person.
No,
I love meeting people. Like, I love coming to see you guys. Thank you for inviting me. But
that's why the fiver was on Liz's chair.
But, you know, when it's completely changed the way that. So there's that. Obviously, Office 365.
Plug.
That's the second fiver.
I know. I'm earning my money this morning. Brilliant. And obviously the support that I get, right?
And there's the third fiver. 3 in a row.
But for me...
I think Andy's good too. Any fivers?
No.
Oh, sorry.
I've used them all up on Liz.
I mean, the one thing that I love, and I suppose I've come to use more and more, is the transcribing element of Word.
Oh, how good is that?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I never used it.
Oh,
Have
it's
you not?
brilliant. So I
Missing
do
out,
all...
Adam.
Really?
So, part of my market research, I do like focus groups and interviews and things like that. So I record them. Obviously, get permission from everybody who's there first. I record them and then just transcribe them.
Upload
And it does it
MP3 into Word.
I mean, obviously, you have to go...
I am
Oh, dear.
absolutely gutted. I'm only just learning about this now. Do you know, I have done the...
No.
Thank you, Liz.
Thanks, Liz.
And then, obviously, Teams just does the video. It doesn't do an audio thing, I do believe, at the moment. Maybe it does now. Okay.
Yeah,
But you can convert video to audio very easily and then upload the audio file, which I have done in the past as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It does it all. I mean, you've got to go through it and tidy it all up. But it's all there and it's just so much easier. I mean, many moons ago, before I embarked on my career in marketing, I was a PA administrator, and I remember the days of taking notes at meetings and things like
Shorthand
that.
and
I think, well, I did shorthand as well. I can do shorthand. And I remember, I think back to then to now, and oh my.
File open, MP3. There you go, 90% of it done.
Yeah, so that's one thing that's evolutionised the way I work. Really, it means I can get really in-depth information from things, because obviously when you're in the days of taking notes and things like that, and even just recording stuff and then taking notes from it and stuff like that, sometimes you miss things, because especially in a focus group, you've got loads of different people talking.
There's loads of different ideas flowing, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's good to get them. So that's really, I think, my market research has become more in depth and better because of that. So there's that I use.
Yeah.
And then going outside the Office 365, Canva has revolutionised.
Canva's brilliant.
Great product.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. It has, I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not plugging Canva, but it's, having that pro account.
Yeah.
It just,
It's a
you just get so much
really,
more.
really good package.
Yeah.
We've got both Canva Pro and we've got Photoshop. And
have you?
we've got the full Adobe because we do
Okay.
all of
this.
this.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
the full cloud suite, which is expensive. It's awesome.
Really? You've never mentioned it, Adam.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bugbear.
30th time.
34th time.
Hey!
I do love the Adobe software.
Yeah.
Please don't
Yeah.
think otherwise. But in terms of that's for what we need it for. But in terms of Canva, we use Canva as well.
It is a
Yes.
great
Yeah,
product. It really
because
is.
actually Canva can do so much heavy
know.
lifting. So if you're a startup,
Yeah.
really look at it because it is
Yeah.
decent. And that's me talking us out of work potentially. But
No.
you've got it's a great tool.
You could put your brand colours in there.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's,
you could do your brand
all
kit.
You can,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, we've got all of our clients' brand kits in there.
Yes.
So we could just switch between brand
That's
kit
what
and
I've,
change.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's just
fantastic.
brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
But to be
has,
fair, that's why, we should be employing somebody like TigerDove or HubSpot because of these tools and tips. And that's going back to what I was saying about Resilient. We're not just the internal IT guy going, well, nobody's asking me for anything. I'm constantly looking and
Yeah.
going, I'll prevent you this. I'll provide you this. Have you thought about this? Adam, have you thought about transcription in Microsoft Word?
Have now.
Right, okay. I also read with interest that the latest version of Microsoft's Core Pilot, if you purchase the subscription and embed it into Microsoft Teams, it can be the note taker and it will actually summarize the whole Teams meeting
wow.
for you and then email out and go and here are the highlights of the meeting.
There you go.
I love that.
That's with
Amazing,
AI.
isn't it?
Aye.
Gary.
Gary
we need to
AI.
revisit Gary.
Yeah.
Well, that was my next question. So have you used ChatGPT much at all?
Yes. I'm actually dabbling in AI art at the moment.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is it Dolly? AI?
Dolly, yeah.
Sorry, Photoshop, Adobe, Michelle showed me their AI function.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh, my
incredible.
goodness me.
Really?
Oh, my.
Okay,
I haven't
I've
tried
got a
that.
good example. See this photograph of me and
Yeah.
Andy on here. Sorry to those
Yeah.
people just listening. We've got a photograph of me and Andy, the artwork that you can probably see on the artwork cover of the podcast you're listening to. But it is actually a square thing. We then had to, on the TV here, we then had to expand it to a 16:9 TV resolution. It's fine because it's just us on black, right? But we had another podcast that we're working on, and he stood in front of a brick wall, and it's square. And all I did is jump into Photoshop, make the artwork the right size, and then I just went continue the background, and it built the rest of the brick wall
Oh, wow.
to the edges of the screen, and you
Yeah.
wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I've actually gone to him. Look at that. I went, yeah, great. Like
Have
those
you
bits
noticed-
are generated by AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going back to ChatGPT, yes. It's amazing
It
in
is.
some respects. What I mainly use it for is a lot of idea generation. Going back to getting different perspectives and things like that. That's really interesting. Content wise, yes, I do use it, which is good. There's still an element of taking that content and refining it, and
Thank you for mentioning
you
that.
need to understand. You need to understand the business. You need to understand the product or service. You need to understand the audiences and tailoring it, personalizing and tailoring it to your audience.
Yeah.
But it is great for that sort of thing. I've used it for giving me ideas of templates for things, like business proposals, different ways of looking at business proposals. It'll give you ideas of how to maybe present content in different ways, like different terminologies that you could use, and then sort of templates for reports. Gives you ideas of how you could maybe, you sort of put in what you have done in the past, template-wise, and it gives you different ideas of that type of thing.
Here's a question I've got
Go on
about
then.
chat. So, well, first thing is when ChatGPT first came out, some people were going, "Are you concerned?" I'm like, "Well, no, it's technology."
It is.
And I was like, "Isn't just ChatGPT like a text version of the calculator to maths?" Yeah, because it's
Okay.
like you don't use a calculator and go, I'm cheating. It's just one of the tools that you have available to you. And now everybody has available, and they're going, are you worried about it, taken away? The one thing I did have is I was supporting our local rugby club right in the wedding sort of text, and it suggested that the guests could go and have a quick game of rugby while you had your photographs taken. So obviously it's not perfect.
Not infallible.
Imagine the state of the guests. The couple go for the photographs, they come back and it's like, why are you covered in mud?
Well, we went and had a game of rugby.
Rugby.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So
no,
like, it's great to do a lot of the some of the heavy lifting
It is,
and
yeah.
get you so far along. But I think you're absolutely right. It still needs that
Oh,
It
human
does.
touch and guidance, because the thing that we say is, if you're just saying buy this, buy our thing, buy Teams in Andy's case, buy our thing, buy our thing. People are not interested in that.
No.
That's not the
No.
social part of social media, for example. So you've got to make sure that your story, your story selection, your messaging, what you're talking about, the expertise you're talking about, the things like that, you've got to make it genuine and
Oh,
really
you do,
apply it
yeah.
to your company.
And at the end of the day, when you're producing content, or when I'm producing content, you're working with people, and they'll have given you quotes, they'll have given you information, and it's making sure, you've got to make sure that they're quoted correctly within things, and make sure that it follows on, for your reader, and just relying on it. No. And it goes back to time as well.
Oh, she's at it again.
does.
Focusing on time.
Going back to what you've just been saying about it's just technology. Do you remember when you might not be.
I do.
Enough. Do you remember
No, I
when
do.
social media first came out?
Yeah.
It was like, oh wow,
I remember thinking when social, people started, agencies for social media companies started coming out, I remember. And I honestly, and I do it now, but I remember thinking, seriously, someone's getting paid to do it to mess around on
Yes.
Facebook.
Yeah,
Right, essentially.
I know.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that now
No.
at all, but at the
No.
time, the problem is, and I said this about Amazon ordering books through. At first, you're ordering a book through the internet.
Yes.
It's coming through the internet. How do you get it out your computer? No, it comes through your door. So it was funny, but yeah, sorry I cut you off
No,
there.
it's fine.
It's just those funny.
It's just another tool. It's
Yeah.
like your Photoshops, your Canvas, your Teams.
Yeah.
Your everything. You're transcribing in Word. All these types
Yeah.
of things. It's all a tool.
I know now.
It's all a tool, and you need to how to use it effectively to start with.
Well, that's hopefully sums up what you've said. You
Yeah.
need to do everything.
And AI is something I'm learning every day.
Yeah, no,
It's
but it's
constantly
really interesting.
changing.
It will, it already has.
It has,
revolutionised. But I think what you both said there, and obviously I'm in the technical world, so I know about it. It's absolutely perfect for doing things. I get it to write some of my code snippets for me. Because code is very black and white, it actually works 99% of the time. But as you've just had with your example there, what can the guests do during their have a game of rugby? Yeah, okay, maybe not the best idea.
We need to go through it, check
you need
it,
to check
tweak it,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing, of course, that I use on a regular basis is WordPress.
Yes, I'm a big WordPress user. You guys use WordPress?
Used to. I give it all to you now.
Yeah, we help them.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
WordPress is fantastic.
Fabulous again.
I love
have to do it.
WordPress.
You know what? WordPress can get a bit of a bad rap from
can.
people in the industry, but actually it's an incredible tool.
Yeah.
It's
I
an
know.
incredible tool.
If you think back to the episode with Simon Crisp, he literally said WordPress for some sectors, for some people, it's absolutely perfect. It does the job 100%. However, as you grow, you align yourself by going, okay, maybe it's not doing exactly what I want to do. So you then look at alternatives. But for 99% of people out there, it will do the job perfectly.
100%.
Can you believe the hour's gone?
I can't believe the hour's gone.
Not believe
Am I
it.
that interesting?
You are that
You
interesting.
are that interesting. It's
Have you
been
ever thought
fantastic.
about doing a marketing company?
And especially like brand and
Something
like systems of work and how you can deliver things.
think of some two great words like elephant, heron, marketing.
Oh, there we go.
I
Yeah.
have no idea.
What does an elephant stand for?
Doesn't forget.
Doesn't forget.
Doesn't forget,
Yeah.
and the heron eats fish. There you go.
You don't forget fish.
Don't forget fish.
Perfect.
Thank you. I rested my
like
case.
the rubbish version of the dating site that exists.
Thanks, Adam.
But no worries.
So, Liz, what we do is we round up every episode by going, what are you doing for the weekend?
Weekend.
Yeah, I know it is Monday.
Sorry.
It is Monday, but
we
normally do it on a
What am
Friday.
I doing for the weekend?
Nobody knew it was Monday until
Sorry.
you told them.
I had to.
I'm having to transport myself to the weekend now.
Ready?
I've got a lot happening
Fast
between now.
forward.
I know. Oh, coming to see you.
You knew the answer. That
I knew the answer. Because me and hubby Paul are going to be playing Mr.
Mate.
Do all night.
Oh,
Yeah, May the 4th be with you.
That's a great Star Wars joke.
I know.
Of course.
Yeah, so and
Why
that's
are you
why.
staring at me like that? I don't know where I am
I know.
in terms of date. I'm
But
right.
I know it's May the 4th be with you on Saturday because I know it's the first on Wednesday because it's my husband's birthday.
Yes.
There
So
you go.
I can work
See?
it out in my head.
Organised. Organised.
Yeah, but don't ask me what day of the week it is now.
No idea.
But
So
I do
hopefully
know that May
Saturday
the
night
4th is
sushi,
sushi.
booze,
Yeah.
and Mr. Do.
Mr. Do.
Sounds good.
It
Sounds good.
Great.
But I'll be doing other things, but that's obviously the highlight
The
of
highlight,
my
yeah,
weekend.
yeah,
you have
What
to.
about yourself?
Me, no rugby this weekend.
Oh,
Played at the weekend semi-final. We won. Through to the final week on Saturday.
whoa.
So I'm going to go and support the third team, I think, up in South Shields in their semi-final.
very
Just
good,
watch them help out.
Jolly good. Oh, sorry, I didn't
yeah.
mean to ask, how did your farming experience on Friday go?
Yes, my farming experience. That was good.
It was good, yeah, because you were like 3 farms or like silly.
Yeah,
Silly clocks
over
sometimes,
Cumbria were.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
great.
it was
Fantastic.
good.
Yep, no,
Good.
really good. Had cows licking me while I'm filming and
Were they
viewing
licking
farmers.
the edible?
No,
No,
Edible
they
ink
weren't
off your
licking my head. They like trying to lick. So if I've got 2 cameras around my neck, I've normally got one on the tripod and one like
Yeah.
by my hip, and they're quite like trying to lick the lenses, which is really pain in the backside if they get it because you got to then clean it all off again. But no, it was great working with a bunch of great farmers,
Yeah.
doing some great things.
Good
And
stuff,
it's always great to see it. Yeah, my car always stinks though when I get back into it.
Yes.
I've got a hack, by the way. So they've got an old feed tub off my mate, like a short. It's like a big tub, probably like a massive shoebox. Think of it as
All
a
right,
big
okay.
shoebox, but it had feed in for a sheep. I've got one of those, and I put my wellies in. Keeps them all contained. So if you've been on the farm filming, you put it in there, and it means you're not getting the mud off the side of your boots on your bags and things. You can do that on a weekend, walking the dog or whatever. It's
a
really
great
handy.
hack.
Wow,
Well done.
yeah.
So I do that to contain the guano.
Yes.
Because there is a lot. So yeah, but no,
That's
all
good. Any more Linux building, Plex server
Yeah,
building?
I've actually got it started there. So I've backed up my NAS server to my machine, and then the plan is get the disks back in the machine. I keep pinching technology off Andy.
I'm turning into a weekend geek.
Can I just add something else that I'm doing
Yes.
the weekend? I just suddenly thought about is I'll be spending time in my wildlife garden.
Love your
There you
photographs
go.
on Facebook. Amazing photos.
I know, yeah. I've got
Pretty
my own
good.
pond and everything.
You must
yeah.
have like lots of different animals that just like book holidays for you. We're off. I'm going to see Liz and Paul.
Yeah.
I booked a weekend in their
I
garden.
booked a weekend with TigerDove.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, because we have a wildlife pond. It's got like a little bit of a pebble beach,
Nice.
and we get a lot of birds just crashing out on the beach for the
Yeah.
day.
It's relaxing.
Yes.
The pebbles will be warm.
No, it's
Yeah.
great. No pebbles, mate. Liz's and Paul's is great. They've got little deck chairs.
Yeah, we are.
Little saunas.
Yeah.
You can see the
And
birds.
during winter months, we put little scarves and hats and stuff
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
You know,
Perfect.
that's what we
That
do.
sounds like good. I'm going to book in. I'm going to book in. I'll
Absolutely,
join them. I'll join them.
Okay, well, Liz, it just remains for me to say thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been
really
great.
good.
Thank you
It's
so
been
much.
Good,
Yeah,
yeah.
it has been really good.
I didn't think I'd have anything to talk about, but actually, I do.
You've had plenty to talk about. Who would have thought it?
I know.
Focused. You've laser focused.
Yeah,
Great, isn't it?
awesome. We'll probably get you back in a few months as well. See how things are going. That'd be
Okay.
great.
That would be very good
It'd
indeed.
be good to be
Thank you
back.
very kindly.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you very
See
much.
you later, everybody.
See you later, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.